Hi everyone, it's Talia from And So We Craft. As promised, here is my first layout using just Project Life cards. So I actually already had my layout sort of organized with some photos in there and papers, and so now I'm just taking out the papers that I already had, and I'm going to replace them with the Project Life cards. So I'm using that Amy Tangerine cut and paste mini kit for this one, and I've just gone through and I've chosen a few different of the 4x6 cards, and you can see down in the bottom right hand corner that I've left one of the papers in that I already was using, and yeah, I just did that because the colors sort of still matched, so I figured, oh well, I'm not very good at doing what I am meant to do, so yeah. Yeah, and so I've got a thin little card there as well, which is a screenshot from my phone of some music that I've been making Leo listen to as we put him to sleep for his nap. So I've included a 4x6 card that has, you know, a bit of writing on it, so that yeah, it adds some interest. And so I'm just going through, checking through all of them, and then rearranging them a bit as I go. I'm trying to do a mix between cards that are sort of journaling prompts or just plain journaling cards, and then also using some cards that are filler ones, like that blue arrow card. And then I also have to work out a way, because I use a lot of these, I've sort of not doing this in a true Project Life sense in that I have photos in those portrait areas, and so I just sort of need to find a way to include some journaling spots in the 4x6 photos that I've got on there. So I'm actually using one of the what are they, 3x4 cards, and I've cut it up there, and then I might use the other half somewhere else. You can see here I've got a bit of vellum, and I just feel like that paper that I have left in that doesn't go with it is a bit too bright, and so I'm just going to put vellum over the top of it to sort of mute the colours a little bit. I'm also going to trim down this screenshot just so it's neat. And if you have cut out a picture small, you can either leave a white border around it, or you can cut it out exactly to the screenshot. So now I'm also doing a very un-Project Life thing, which is adding embellishments, because I just can't help myself. That is sort of what I really, one of the things I like about scrapbooking. I'm going to try and use some of these arrows that I cut out on my Cricut the other day. I cut some out in vellum, some out in black, and I think the vellum will work best in this area, because I want to sort of then draw things together. So to show this journaling goes with this photo, whereas if you did a standard Project Life way, that would be easier. I also made this little envelope, which I thought was really cute, and I will add a link in the blog post to Chamel's blog, where I found the tutorial for that. And I'm also trying to use up a few extra things I have, which are these flowers and whatnot. I am loving wood veneer at the moment. The two that I'm using on here is the Studio Calico wood veneer camera, and then I've also got those chevrons, which I'm using to make like arrows, and then that's another one of my arrows as well. I'm a bit obsessed. So I'm just going through the supplies I have, and I like to sort of just put it all out there a bit just to see, is this going to work, or you know, I like to sort of have a bit of a overview and see how it's all going to work before I work on a particular photo. These are little date stickers which I will probably use. I've also got my date stamp. So I'm going to start sticking the bits and pieces on. I've used a little QR code. You can just make them really easily. Just Google make QR code, and there's lots of different websites that will make them for you, and then you just print them out, and I always test them. Then I have a QR code reader on my phone, and I always test them to make sure it goes to the right picture or film, which in this case it's because I've made a video which is related to this photo, which is a thing that we did this day. I actually made the video a week or two later, but I still include it in this week's Project Life layout because that's where it's relevant to. And this is Leor's album, not mine, so it's not about I made this video this week, it's about we did this thing and here's a video about it. And I don't know if you saw that, but I stapled through the wood veneer camera then, and as I've only ever really stuck it down with adhesive, but it stapled through quite well. I was surprised. I just got a little brad to stick through the flower, and then I felt like this photo up in the top right hand corner was getting a little bit lost, and so I'm going to make a border to go around it. I'm just trimming the photo a little bit because the card that I had was already cut to 4x6, and so the 4-inch side wouldn't really work. So yeah, I just trimmed a little bit of the photo. I'm not too worried about things like that. And I'm using double-sided tape for a thin thing like this arrow. And the trick, I think, which I only just discovered doing this layout, I would normally just try to stick the double-sided tape onto the embellishment, but really, if you just stick the double-sided tape onto the paper and then stick your embellishment on top, it's so much easier. I don't know why it took me so long to figure it out. Yeah, so doing this vellum pocket as well, and just sticking that down. The thing with vellum, if you're using double-sided tape underneath, is that you don't really want the double-sided tape to show up, but because I knew I was putting a photo on top, I could just put a strip of double-sided tape down where I knew the photo would be overlapping it anyway, or you could just not worry about it. And I've got another little camera there, which you can see, a paper one, which I'm sticking down once I use this washi. And that is actually from an Amy Tangerine paper, 12x12 paper, and I didn't really have any, I didn't like the paper with all the cameras on it, but I like the cameras, so I've just trimmed it and cut it out, and then I'm just using some watercolor paints over the top of it just to give it some color because it's in black and white, and that sort of works well. There's a bit of a painty sort of look about it, and so I've just added some paint over the top of that QR code as well. I like using paint because it actually is you can use different colors, but it's just the style of it that ends up bringing your whole layout together. So that's good.